Welcome back to the channel, RevKev RC. I am, of course, RevKev, and this is the biggest crawler maybe on the planet with four wheels. The six-wheel version is going to be, of course, longer. It's going to have another axle, and the bed will be longer. The unboxing video on this is fairly long, roughly an hour, and I think it needs it. This thing is enormous. There are a lot of things going on with it. I will just say, since that video, I haven't done anything to it performance-wise. If you count putting it on my Dumbo DDF 350, that's a performance upgrade. Maybe, no. All that allows me to do is tune everything how I like it on the remote and all the channels to do what I want. I will do a little bit more on that later. Some aesthetic upgrades I like that I did, you can probably see right here. I colored in the fans, the radiator fans. Those aren't real fans, they're faux fans, which I'm probably going to change. I'm going to upgrade those and add some, I guess they're going to be like computer fans. They'll be pretty big fans. So I've got to hold the camera back pretty far. But yeah, those are just like a gold / copper brass looking paint marker from Sharpie and a silver paint marker from Sharpie. Not exceptionally well done, but it does get the point across, and it adds a very nice pop of color when you look at it from a little bit of a distance. I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about some new things I discovered about this thing and some stuff that I did to make it more durable right off the bat, which in my opinion, Cross RC probably should have done, and I don't have a good reason why they didn't. So we are out here at, this is a new location. It's not really new. I've been here before. When I first got into RC, I tried to climb that with a TRX4 Defender, and that did not go well. It was very difficult. I made it maybe halfway, but we're going to see if this thing can do it, because it is, in fact, the rock breaker. So to coin a phrase from Project Farm, we're going to test that. So, you know, I got me on there. Had to put it in two places because the dang thing is so big. And, you know, I got to rep the channel. So that's what we're going to try first. So it's straight out of the pot and into the fire for that. I'm going to try a chest mount and see if I can drive with two hands and not block the camera with the remote and still get some decent footage for you guys. But some crawling friends built something back here, some trails up in the hill here. So I might go investigate and see what we can find. And you'll come with me. And we'll just see what this thing can do on its maiden voyage. This is going to be a big test, especially the part here with these rocks, for low end torque and the drag brake. I have the drag brake, when I programmed it, up as high as it will go, and the punch as high as it will go, and all that. So it's really, as it comes out of the box, this is as good as it's going to get. And I'm running see if I can do this with the body. It's not attached. That is a 4S Huvo 120C. That's a 9,000 milliamp pack. You can see it is quite tall, and it still has clearance in there. So this thing will hold a pretty big battery. I've got some straps on the way, so I can take two smaller 4S batteries and run them in parallel, like on their side right here. So I'll get like a whole lot of runtime. So we're going to see how good 9,000 does. It's fairly heavy battery, but this thing is enormous, so I just don't think it matters. And later on, if it does matter, if I discover that I would have made it up these rocky hills with a lighter battery, which I super doubt it, I think the limitation is going to be the tires and the ability to control the speed, being a brushed system that is not exceptionally well suited, even though there are two motors and two ESCs. But more on that later. Let me get this thing buttoned up. Let me get the truck closed up, and we will see you over there at the beginning of this rock climb. All right, well, here we go. First things first, diffs are unlocked. I am in first gear. I have programmed in here, which I'm going to touch on more later, a first gear, neutral, and reverse with the 3-position switch. So you can see here, we got a neutral that allows us into free roll and then back into first. Let's see, first curb. This thing's never seen anything but my driveway and the street. That's our first gear low speed. It actually clears that curb perfectly. Well, the low speed control is actually pretty good. I had to jam it up a little bit and it didn't just want to hop out and do crazy things. This is actually looking kind of promising. We got our diffs open. So what I'm going to try to do is I want to come up right there and maybe just go that way. But if that's too easy, I may just turn it off and take a harder line. So we'll see. I can tell you from bench testing this thing, the servo is pretty fast. It's decently strong, but they've built in something to stop you from breaking it. So I can grab the wheel with my tire and it will stop it from returning and stop it from turning left or right. It doesn't really take that much force either. So I'm going to go ahead and lock the front. See if I can get down this. It's pretty good. Oh, let's go lock that rear. Oh man, this is actually looking really good. These tires are similar, if not pretty close clones of the TSL Swampers. Oh, there's our first look at drag brake. Our drag brake it leaves something to be desired. I think it's functional if you keep your finger sort of babysitting things. Man, we're climbing though. We're climbing. It doesn't even look like it's thinking about tipping backwards. I say that, but I'm not actually on the side looking at it. I think what I needed here was a little bit more speed. Well, it's definitely moving rocks. All right. I think that was a harder line. Let me go to the left. Try that one. Let's go get us a better angle. So you can see our drag brake it's really trying. Our wheel is jammed up there and it's kind of helping. But honestly, I'm not really mad about the low speed control. It's actually pretty dang good. I think if these rocks would quit moving, this thing is so heavy. I think we might actually get somewhere. So yeah, let me just rock bounce up this thing. That wasn't that hard at all. This thing is really kind of making its name. Yeah. I'll flip her around here and bring her back into the frame. Maybe I won't crash it. Maybe I will. Wow, we needed some headlights. Yeah. Oh, that looks good. All right, I had to pause the camera because the police showed up. Should I make that part of the video title? Because people click on stuff like that more. Like I got a giant RC. Is that not enough? Let me put some thing in there about the police showing up. Anyway, it's somebody I knew from another lifetime ago, and he just told me to have fun, be careful. Back to this thing. Pretty cool, honestly. This thing's actually performing really well. Let's do a downhill test. This is fairly steep. That looks to be about 35, maybe 40 degrees. And we're in first gear still. Let's just see what kind of drag brake control we have. Ooh, right now I'm I want to get lined up. I know my axles will clear that, but I want to get lined up so I can come down this clean, right? There. All right, let's just, no throttle. I'm going to see what the drag brake does. Just how much control, how much drag brake do we really get? You know what? I'm not even mad at that. That's actually pretty good. It's stopping it. Granted, I'm hitting something on my passenger front wheel. Let's reposition and show you. This is a stock system, brushed, and it's got pretty dang good drag brake. You do have to go in there and program it. I bumped it all the way up. I think the setting is either like 5 or 9 is the max, because these are the twin Hobbywing ESCs. That's actually really good. You know, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. I'm not gonna hate that thing did really well. Let's see if we can climb back up it. Let me unlock, flip her around, and I really do think this thing sounds like a turbo diesel. It really does. Let's give some lock diffs. Let's get a good look at this angle. I think these tires actually perform really well. They look the part. Yeah. The servo is doing its job. It's not, get y'all in there. It's not anything to write home about, but it is functional. I would say if you, well, let me say that for later. Let me save it for later. I will just tell you this. The RTR brushed electronics are pretty decent. That's honestly making very light work of this. I have other RCs that would probably do that. Just probably as good, but they're not this big, and they're also not stock. This thing is totally out of the box, with the exception of me switching transmitters for some convenience factor. Let's throw some more lights on. Got the brights. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. The third option in the light, in the order in which the lights function, is blank, because there's a board in there with a plug to plug in another light, which would be like your light bar or pods or whatever. So now we got some hazards. Now we got light show strobes, if you want to make people mad on the trail. And then we got just some hazards with nothing else. Something to note, I don't actually care, but you can turn the headlights all the way off. You cannot turn the tail lights off. They're on all the time. That's got some scale reel rock bouncing, rocking back and forth. And another YouTuber already said it. I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. The red springs that come with this are harder. They're for higher speed runs if you do want to do something a little bit more fast paced and a little bit less crawling. I wish these were red, because red would look cool in there. So the servo, it is not super duper aggressive or very snappy, but it honestly, it works. It does work. All right, let's go. Let me try a different line off over here to the left. You guys want to see how fast first gear is? Show you how fast first gear and second gear is. Now, I tested it on my street last night because it's not so fast I have to have an open road. But first gear is like 5 or 6 miles an hour, and second gear is about 12. So this is first gear on the 900 milliamp 4S. I think that's super respectful for a crawler. Let me turn the diffs off. Let's throw her into second gear. When you go into second gear and start out, you can hear what I'm talking about, where it sounds like a turbo diesel. I think that's pretty good. I mean, how much more speed do you need for a crawler? Now, that being said, even though I am actually pretty impressed with these electronics, I am going to upgrade them. See if we can get some donuts. Oh, nice. Got to get closer for that. All right. Did some donuts at distance to do a little closer. Makes pretty good circles. So I got the rear locked, front open, and in second gear. That's full throttle. We're pinned. It's pretty stable. All right, let's go to the right. Wow, that's a good time right there. Put it back into first. First kind of gets it too. First is cool. Let's do a little hill climb. It does sound like a diesel. I'm just guessing if I got you in frame or not. Yeah, it does sound like a diesel. I love it. I was telling my wife, like, if I swap into a brushless system, I think I'm going to lose that sound because that's coming from those big old brushed motors. Yeah, when in doubt, throttle out. This thing is a lot of fun. I've only been driving it truly off-road for about 5 minutes. I suspect it will not. It won't side hill very well. But let's come on down here. Ooh, that drag brake does want to make it do a little endo. Turn off the rear, keep the front, so we can tighten up our uphill turn. Let's see if we can manage this side hill right here. I think I'm going to tip. Let's see if we can do it, though. It probably doesn't look nearly as steep on camera as it is to me in real life. It's actually not bad. Again, this dual ESC, dual brushed motor system has actually got pretty dang good low-speed control. Honestly, and the drag brake isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was, and it's getting the job done. Oh, that was cool. Side hill's not bad. Let's lock that rear. It's got pretty good articulation in the suspension. Drag brake, that's me not doing anything. Drag brake is pretty good. If I give her just a tiny bit of forward throttle, she'll stop solid. And it'll do the same thing going in reverse. There's some tricks you can do if you really, really cared. If you have like a really long downhill, you could play with the throttle trim forward and reverse. So if you wanted to get a little bit, this is with a brush system like we have. If you wanted to get better drag brake going downhill, let's see, I'll just demonstrate it for you because this is already pretty steep. So we're here. Our drag brake is doing the best it can. Now, if we come into here and I scroll over and I mess with the throttle, right, come on. I need you to actually brake. And I start. All right, see, I gave it throttle. So let me send it towards the reverse. Let's see, how much further do I have to go? Yeah, okay. So we back it up. Reverse is now extra sensitive. That's because I've sort of primed the truck to be in reverse trim. So forward is going to be extra delicate and reverse is going to be extra sensitive. If we were looking at the speed controllers right now, they would be lit up red because they are actively trying to be in reverse when the truck is still. So right now I'm not touching it, and the drag brake is holding significantly better than it was. Now if I back this down, now the drag brake is letting back go. So now we're going to have back to our regular, pretty decent, but not a super strong hold drag brake. You can do that in reverse going uphill if you want it to not roll back down toward you. Same trick. You can just fool with your throttle trim and sort of prime it one way or the other, which would be the opposite of the direction you were trying to go. So if you were going downhill forward, prime the trim slightly more reverse oriented until the truck stops. This is only for the brushed systems. It doesn't, you don't need to do that with an FOC brushless system. So if you have this truck and you bought it the way that I bought it with brushed RTR electronics, that is a trick you can use. And it's even easier on the stock remote because there's just a dial. This I gotta like pop the menu open and then find this little doobly-doo in there and then watch the numbers change. With a stock remote, you can just feel the dial and you know you're going more or less forwards or backwards as opposed to this thing. So something to think about. Again, I'll demonstrate in the other direction. We will go uphill and we'll stop it from rolling backwards. Because a lot of times during their climb, we want to stop it from rolling backwards and losing the ground that we've gotten. So what I'm going to do is go in here, and I believe I'm going to roll it backwards. I'm going to roll the numbers downward. And we should see it. Yeah. Now it's stopped. I'm at like 60 on right there. So throttle is going to be extra sensitive and reverse is going to be less sensitive. So throttle is sensitive. But what we get is a drag brake that works in our favor, almost like we have FOC, almost like we have a brushless system. Our throttle in this direction is going to be more sensitive. The low speed control is absolutely there. That's very, very good. And reverse, because we want to be careful reversing as we're trying to climb. So we want reverse to be a little bit dumbed down so that we don't upset the suspension too much. So look at how much reverse needs to start doing anything. Way less than the throttle. So a little trick for you there. If you want to, on the fly, increase your drag brake to climb a hill and then not get to the top and then have it just roll itself back down. So I'm going to put it back to where it is. I think I got the best with about +8. Let me turn it around, see what it does. Yeah, +8 gives me a nice slow descent that I can just steer out of. All right, new location. I got a new friend. His name's Austin. He's over here. Austin, right? Yes, I never remember. He's over here. He's got a Vanquish stance. Whew, I just climbed this hill, and I'm old and out of shape. But the Cross RC XX dinosaur name is down there. We're gonna do a little hill climb just because it looks cool. And just some scale reference here. That's a 10th scale rig. And that's the Cross RC EMO XX Gigantor. So, sweet. So we got Austin leading the way. He knows where to go. What do you guys think of my radiator fan paint? I think it looks good. Nice pop of color. I'm trying out a chest mount for my phone. It lets me see what you're seeing and adjust it on the fly if necessary. Previous attempts at this, the software and my phone had leveled out and sort of mitigated all the bouncing, so hopefully it's doing that with this too. But just gonna run this thing on the trail, find something cool, turn the camera back on. So we found a bridge in the trail, and Austin's gonna cross it, and he's totally not gonna fall, right, Austin?
Yeah, brand new.
He just got this at the local hobby town. A lot of people say it, but if you can support your local hobby town, you should. Because once they stop having what we want, everything it's going to get harder. Ooh, nice. Is that a factory servo?
Pretty decent, man. What I can tell.
Yeah.
Turns real nice. Got real good flex. I mean, the motor that was in it was trash, but
yeah, it pulled you out of there pretty good.
Well, yeah, this got the Fusion SE in it now, but it had to come brushed.
Nice. Was that a Vanquish branded system?
It was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was. A little brush motor.
Nice. Oof. I say that's wire.
Yes, cable.
I don't think I'm too. I don't know. That is pretty wide.
I mean, if you are not too wide, you're just right there at it.
It seems probably like a bad idea.
I think it might be with that thing. That thing probably a good drop.
I could do it with a regular 6, but this thing is bigger than a regular.
I mean, I feel like your tires would be right there, and if you made any kind of side, it's going to go.
Also, I told Brian I wouldn't tear up his bridges. So, all right, don't hate me, viewers. I'm going to skip this one. I think my wheel track is just too wide, but we did get to see Austin do it with his Vanquish, and that was pretty sweet. So we're going to go find something else, and I'll get you back in when we do. Austin got away from me. Trying to get my camera going. As you can see, we've got turn signals on the rear. Reverse lights, pretty good ones too. Brake lights. Well, accidentally ran that tree over. Definitely not going to make it through there. And sand pit to the left. Let's do that. Ooh, a real climb. Nice. Those are very good. What's on there now? Comes in 2-stage. Nice. I went too slow. Thing's falling apart.
Not the regular wheel weights, but they're
They hang?
they stay low.
Oh, they're like the bottom part of the
They fit inside the rim.
yeah. Yeah. So you get no extra weight above the axle at all.
Right, I'll tell you another good thing that I use, especially in my little 124, is I'll put foam in the tires, but I'll take the foam out of the tires and I'll fill the base of it with over BDs, and I'll weigh them out on the scale, so I get them out inside. With the BDs, they stay low always. They conform to the terrain. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're going to stay at the lowest point. And I love them, dude. Especially when they're chassis printed up and everything.
Yeah.
It's got super swampers on it that I cut up. And it's a bad little dude.
I literally have to get across this. I'm going to have to bump it. If you can't crawl it, ram it, I guess. They put a Dodge emblem on the front of this thing.
Ryan used to always look at me because like my Jeep, I had that thing decked out, but I always was like, every time I come around, my front would be clicking or something because I should be giving hell.
Some nice lights for the getting dark out here. That looks off limits to me. And there isn't even a good hill climb to get around it unless I go up over here to the right. Well, actually, there's something right there that looks like I'm going to go up there, and I'm assuming that's going to bring you up over there.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to cover here.
Yeah. Diffs are open. Man, we made it. Let's go get it. Yeah, there's stuff back that way. I don't know if you want to go that way or keep going up here. I don't know.
We can go wherever the juice will make it. You know what I'm saying? So that way.
I got to go around stuff anyway, so.
We can go that way.
You want to go back this way?
Yeah. I don't want to get out here fucking dark hanging a flashlight.
That's a good climb.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It was a toss up between this and the Coyote.
See if this monster can do it. Oof. Might have to full send it.
Oh, we got wrapped up in the vine. That's the only reason.
Ooh, yeah, slipper was catching. Let's see if it's broke or not. Nice. Slipper clutch works.
What kind of tires are those?
These are cross-branded. They're just called Rock Breaker,
Yeah.
but they are an exact, almost replica of the TSL Swampers.
Okay. See, I don't know what these. I'm sure these are a replica of something. I don't know what.
I'm sorry, not TSL Swampers. Those are the ones that are on the Rift. These are Super Swamper clones.
I don't know what those are.
Me either. Those don't look like anything I've seen before. They look like they do really well on side hilling, because the way these treads are. See, this center is giving me BFG KM3 vibes. And this is giving me Hyrax vibes.
Like, because they were trying to sell me on the ruptures yesterday, and I was just like, but I'm not on enough slick rock. I feel like that's what they're for. And so I was like, I want the Baja Pros, but I only had one set in there. I was like, I'm not going to get one set. That's what I had on my Jeep Cherokee, and I love them, man. Them things are so aggressive. And like out here in the woods, I feel like they're perfect.
They are. That's kind of my go-to tire if I need something really aggressive and big. And that same set of tires that you didn't buy is the same set of tires I didn't buy because they only had one set.
Really?
Yep. I kept telling them, order another set and I'll buy these. Where'd that person go that dropped you off?
My girl, she went to go let the dogs out of the house.
Oh, okay.
We've been gone all day. And I was like, I want to go over here for the day, going to the school for a little while. She's like, well, the dog needs to go pee. I was like, let the dog out for a
That's cool. She sounds cool.
tolerate it.
Yeah, you can't really have this hobby if you don't have somebody who understands or at least cares that you're happy.
She goes to the little events with me and stuff. She'll be videoing for you. Whenever I brought when she seen the truck yesterday, she said, rent paid. Yeah, girl. Rent paid. Even my dog gets jealous of these things. I swear, I started working on it, my dog come over here and like try to sit right on top of it.
Yep. It's like, no, me.
Yeah. I'm like, you ain't want nothing to do with me. So go back to real late and probably turn back around.
Yeah, there's some stuff over there.
Where?
Just over here. Like, not something I'll do. That looks a little small for this big boy. What's that? What'd you say?
There's some other guys in the group who got some of the bigger trucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust this one. This one is like made out of two old rotten sticks.
Yeah. I'll give you some light. Yeah, that looks like a diving board. I think I can make that one. All right, don't slip off into the ravine. Turn that front on. It's pretty stable. You just drive back across it. Yeah, that was light work right there. That was easy.
First time I ever went out with anybody like else, I had brought my little Capra 1/18, and I met some guys on the canal. Every one of them jokers had freaking SCX6.
Yeah, it's probably one of them. Because there's only like maybe 6 of us here. Romy,
yeah.
Romy, Bernard, Steve.
So, okay, yeah. So I met y'all down there. I had that little bitty Capra at that time.
Yeah. You still got the Capra?
No, I got rid of all my RC cars about a year or so ago, man. Because I started getting back onto the bashing.
Yeah.
So I kind of did that, and then I was like, man, I just need to calm down for a minute. I had some things going on.
Oh yeah.
But I ended up selling that off.
Sometimes you got to back away and reassess.
Yeah, priority type thing. So I was like, all right, so I'm spending so much money on the bashers. I was like, but I got to have something. So I was like, I want to get I traded I had a I guess you can call it a big rock. It started off with granite, but nothing was stopping it, all metal, everything.
Right.
And I traded it for a pretty souped up infraction. I just never found myself playing with it because I was like, I wanted an on-road vehicle because I knew I wouldn't tear it up as much. But then it just wasn't quite as fun. And then I just know I had a lot of fun with the guys and stuff doing this, Brian and everybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll get another crawler just so there's more people involved with it. Yeah.
Oh no, there's a stick right in the middle. Well, I guess he just run it over.
Because whoever was up there now that time had a Capra or had either a Capra or a TSX, and they was out there doing donuts in the parking lot with it. But
Bernard has a Capra with 4-wheel steer, so he's probably doing donuts.
I know somebody was. I was like, man, so I had to put my damn little truck parking in the But I'll be totally honest with you, man. I like that little thing.
The Capra?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one. It's awesome.
Mine was just a little 118 one, but I had.
Well, RCers, we are back where we left off before Austin showed up. Good guy. Relatable, I think. If any of you were watching that video portion, relatable to many of us who are in this hobby. Good dude. We're probably going to get together tomorrow, come back out here with some more people. I'm going to bring something more appropriate for this trail. We'll see what that is. I'm sure I'm going to film it so I can show everybody. But you didn't get to see a whole lot of technical crawling out of this thing, and many would argue that's not what it's for, but I'll tell you this. It did a really, really good job. I'm very satisfied with the RTR electronics for what you get. And take note of the little hack I gave you for your drag brake when climbing with brushed systems. You can get a little bit more out of it than it is programmed to give you. So I'm going to leave this here. Let's see, what do I got? I got bright lights or no? Do we get strobe show? Nobody likes that. Yep, that's pretty cool. And yep. Pretty good. Okay, we're back from our maiden voyage, our first run with the Cross RC EMO XX, because it's extra fun and extra big. Segasaur. I don't know. This thing performed way better than I thought it would. It honestly did. To say that I am a little bit blown away is perhaps an understatement. I am satiated. I am happy with how this thing came out of the box, and that's exceptionally rare. It performs good, period, but also good enough to the point for what it is and what it claims to do. I don't actually think it needs anything for more performance. It crawled really well for its giantness. These tires grip very well. I really do like them. The drag brake, I'll get it. It'll catch up. Old Rev Kev, he's spinning up. The drag brake is usable. It's predictable, and there is a smoothness that you get with a drag brake that does not just stop all of a sudden, especially when you are trying to smoothly descend a very steep decline. And if you were paying attention in my little mini class about how to manipulate your throttle trim, you can make an okay drag brake perform really, really well on the fly. So that is sort of a reason to not swap over to a more complicated, screen digital type transmitter, such as the Dumbo RC DDF 350, when you could very easily use and love the transmitter that comes with this. Obviously, Dumbo. I didn't swap the receiver. And the little trick that we play on the system is right there. Much easier to manipulate while you're crawling. Oh, going up the steep hill. Let me add some extra. Let's see, we're going up. We're going to add extra forward bias. We're going to add some plus direction on our throttle. We're going downhill. We're going to add some negative / plus in the reverse direction on the throttle to give us the drag brake that we are seeking to have with a system that was never engineered to give you exactly hard, perfect, crazy angle drag brake. I do think the drag brake on this is pretty good. And there's no reason to swap to one of these. This is really good. There's nothing wrong with this. The only reason I did it is so I could program a neutral. So this just has 2-speed. It's on, it's in second gear, or it's in first gear. This one, I put it on a 3-position switch. First gear, neutral, second gear. That is so if this thing has a problem on the trail, I can pull it out using this. Is that in frame? That is in frame. Sweet. This little toolbox right here in the back. I'm trying to be more cognizant of putting my whole arm in the frame. See, I give you the example how dumb that is. Use my left arm. I got 2 of them. This one's not as good anymore, but we got some recovery apparatus in the truck stored all the time, which I very carefully, I guessed how long it should be just based on if I were going to pull this off the trail by the front bumper, which the front bumper has a winch hole, like a fair lead, so you can put a winch through, but we'll get into that maybe later in this video or maybe in another video, but there's just no way to put a winch there unless you're going to do some real Frankenstein stuff, which I'm not above. I'm not above that, but I think they did that. They gave you, because it looks cool, number one, pretty important, but so you could run a cord through it and pull this thing if you have problems. So if you put this truck in neutral, which you can program on your 3-position switch, you can pull it off of a trail with a leash, like a giant, heavy 4-wheeled dog, or a child that doesn't want to leave the, I don't know what, McDonald's play place, whatever kids do. My kid is grown. He's doing grown up stuff. So there's nothing wrong with this. The way this truck comes out of the box, add your own battery, have a charger. Obviously it's big. I'm going to suggest a big battery. It can take up to 4S. You might as well run it on 4S because that's the most fun. And you saw in the video running 4S, it's got pretty dang good low speed control on 4S. So don't even bother running anything but 4S. I am probably not even going to show you what 3S looks like because no one cares. 6 miles an hour ish, 5 or 6 with hills in first gear and about 12 in second gear per the video. Like I didn't show you it with the GPS, but it's a crawler. It doesn't even. When we put a new system in this, we're definitely going to use the GPS because I think it's going to be terrifying. Anyway, that is what I think about the running gear that it comes with. I think how it comes is actually really good if you're going to buy the brushed Ready to Run. The brushless Ready to Run is significantly more money, and that's cool. I didn't not buy that because it costs more. I don't care. I got a credit card, and I'm going to buy what I want and show it to you guys and ladies, hopefully, and play with it. Don't forget to play with your toys. These are toys. Go play with them. But I would have bought the brushless if it was censored. It is not censored. And another YouTuber from across the water, somewhere over there, speaks a language that I don't know. And he has stuff in English. So if you search these on YouTube, you're going to find that guy, because there's only a handful of YouTubers that have English videos where they talk about this thing. And he is one of them. And I apologize if he actually, if he happens upon my video series on this. I apologize, sir. I don't remember your name, but you did give me valuable information, and you helped me make the purchase with more information than I could find otherwise. So the brushless version is not censored, and it's very fast. I don't want to necessarily make this thing go ridiculously fast without slow speed control. So in his video, he talks about he bought the brushless and how he's faring with it. And he's already swapped the system out with a couple different things, and I'm not going to tread on his videos, but he made some changes to it to get it to how he wanted it. And I'm telling you, if you are looking at this for a crawler to do fun things on the trail, you don't have to do anything to this to get decent, dare I say, pretty good performance out of it without having to do anything but put a battery in it. So that's exceptionally rare. The servo is good. It's not great. And I say that because when you turn the wheel and it's not completely blocked or obstructed, it will go. It goes, and it goes fast. However, it's not especially strong. It's strong enough to trail and, kind of make normal turns and things like that. But as soon as you get a little bit of bindage, if it gets wedged in there and you turn the wheel, it doesn't go anywhere. That's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's something built into the servo to stop you from breaking things. So I'm not super mad at it. When I was running in the footage that is in this video, which is going to turn out to be kind of a long video, sorry, the servo actually did just fine. I never once thought, oh, geez, I wish my servo would do this because I want to do that. I think it's okay. And I am going to show you that it is, well, I'll just tell you. I measured it with that. And I compared it to a, who is that? I have a Power Hobby 701. That's a 5th scale servo that I put into many of my bigger, like low C Super Baja Ray and Super Rock Ray. That's a 5th scale servo, and it's the same dimensions as this thing. It'll drop right in. So you do not have to do any crazy modifications, no Frankenstein, to get this thing to fit a big, honking, strong, scary servo if you want. So I actually think the servo's good. I'm probably going to leave it for a little bit. Now, I am going to, through the magic of editing, I'm going to snap my fingers, and all of this is going to be gone, and we're going to talk about what's underneath and some things that I did with durability. And yeah, that's cool. That's not durability. It just looks cool. That's just paint marker. I talked about it in the video. Sharpie makes those. You can buy them. I got those at Lowe's. Come in a pack of 5 with different colors. I do recommend. But I'm going to show you some things that I did that I wish the Cross RC had done, and some other things under there for the servos and how they work and how to store pretty much any of the EMO X series, whether it's a 6 scale or an 8 scale like I've featured on the channel before. So, wham bam. All right, I Thanos snapped my body and bed off into, I don't know, they turned to dust and they disappeared. It was pretty fast. I'm just kidding. They're over there. They're down there. I'm going to need to show you some stuff anyway, so let me not. I made several comments in the video about how these sound like turbo diesels, and I really want to know what you think, because I really do think they sound like a turbo diesel, and I'm going to be sad when I swap this out for something with better everything, except it won't have that cool character. It won't have that cool sound. And I'm going to be a little bit sad, if I'm being honest, because I don't think that sound's coming from the drivetrain. I think it's coming from these giant 775 brushed motors. Anyway, I got some, the power switches are dangling here because I'm going to relocate them, which I might as well talk about why. One, it's ugly. I don't like where they're positioned right here. They had a sticker that was like on, off, and I don't need that. But I'm going to relocate them because I'm not going to use them. And the reason why is this. I'm going to turn this on. All right. EVO XX RY, that means Rally, because I couldn't fit it all in there. This is the Rally Edition. And instead of using the switches, they're going to stay on all the time. Make sure they're still on, because I took the adhesive off. So when you boot this thing up, and I'll just show you. Let's turn the switches off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's two different ESCs, two different motors. If you do it like normal, plug your battery in, and then you turn them on. Let's just say they were still where they were. It's like, okay, we're going to turn that one on. That activates. We got one motor and one ESC powered up. Now, in real life, you would do it faster. You would just hit that switch and then hit that switch, and you would be good to go. Let's see. Are we in neutral? All right, we're in neutral. So, you can see in here, I think. Can you see that? Let me move you guys closer so you can actually see what I am trying to show you. Oop. I'm going to pull you right out of the mount. Going to have to edit that out. All right, let me see. Can you see what I see? Do you see? Oh, you do. I'm going to turn the slide out so you can see it easier. You see ESC light here and ESC light here. What I was experiencing, and also one of the other reasons why I switched to this, is I would get one light pressing throttle would light up on one of these ESCs that controls one of the motors. See how they're both lighting up? What I think is happening, or what, let me describe what actually was happening. Excuse me for jumping all over the place. There's just a lot going on here that I'm trying to relay to you. What I was experiencing is one ESC would get signal from the stock remote and the other one wouldn't for a short portion of trigger squeeze. And what that resulted in, well, what it manifested itself as is less drag brake, because these have to run opposite rotation to each other, but you only have one trim on your remote for either forward or reverse throttle trim. Because these each run their own direction, but you only can control one throttle trim, what you end up with is being able to trim the throttle for one or the other in the manner that you want. There's a workaround for it. You could do what I was describing before, where you have to screw with the throttle trim on your remote or the regular dial for the remote that came with it to achieve the drag brake that you want. That is one thing that I thought this would fix. It did not fix. And unfortunately, I have to spoil the party. It still is not fixed. What I thought was potentially happening is when you turn these on one at a time, or even try to turn them on both at the same time, I thought maybe the boot up sequence with how each one gets power and then talks to the receiver and then talks to this thing, if they're not perfectly sequenced, like perfectly timed together, then that was what was happening. That's not what was happening. It doesn't actually matter. Right now, they're perfect. But for some reason that I can't put my finger on, I cannot understand, which it manifests later as you're driving, typically after a hard second gear pull down a street to see how fast it goes and things like that. These will get out of sync regardless of what this is doing or how I have powered it. So in an attempt to see if I can figure out what's going on, I decided not to use the switches and then just leave them on and then plug the battery in, and then that will give these power at the exact same time, thinking that that would, sort of synchronize things from the origin of power and then on into, recognizing the receiver and then recognizing the transmitter and blah, 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 blah. None of that worked. What was happening and still is happening, and I do not understand why, they will get out of sync, and the one that performs reverse, whichever one of these that actually makes it go in reverse, they both make it go in reverse, but one of them is trimmed slightly closer to reverse than the other, or it does that to itself somewhere while you're running it. I don't know why. I don't know why. And it'll start creeping backwards. It never creeps forwards. It only creeps backwards. So there's something with one of the motors that in the ESCs that is almost forgetting what neutral is. It'll forget neutral. I guess that's the best way to describe it. One of these forgets what neutral is. And if you turn the truck off, turn it back on, it'll remember and everything's fine. But every single time I've ran this on the trail or at my house, testing it on the street, one of these will get out of sync with the other and it will start to try to drive backwards. So that is kind of, that's where we are with the stock stuff. I still think it's really good, and it's not super difficult to rectify with knowledge of what's happening, and on a remote like this where you can access the throttle trim right here, it'll let you just go over to it and then move it. I'm not going to do that because we're on the workbench, but it is in, yeah, I got it in neutral. Very handy if you don't want this thing to take off on you. But the factory remote with the dial, you could easily manage that. So I'm not going to call that like a problem if you understand how to fix it without having to do anything to it except for just turn your little dial. So hopefully that little tidbit helps. Now, because I'm going to go ahead and commit to doing it, I'm just going to put these things, I'm probably just going to put them up here out of the way and just only power the truck on and on, or on and off with the battery plug like some vehicles come. Plenty of crawlers come that way. So I'm just probably going to zip tie these up here. Just get them out of the way, get them nice and low so the body can sit down, and you don't have to look at them. All right, let me turn this light back on, and I apologize for sniffling. The weather is ridiculous here. So it's like hot during the day, and it's a little bit cooler at night. And I got a fan going because I'm trying to dry this RC body off. I went out with some friends today, and I ran some trails, and boy, you are gonna love the footage that I'm gonna be putting out with this thing and every other crawler that I have. There's also some bashing spots out there. It's gonna be great. I cannot wait. I want to thank Brian, if he's watching this. He's probably not. I don't think he's subscribed, for telling me his little secret spot, because I am gonna run it. Okay. Now that I kind of talked about the strangeness and the oddities of this dual setup, because you've got one you tell it to run reverse, and you got one that you have to tell to run forward. So probably they just have these wires backwards on one of them, so it'll run reverse, because brushed systems will do that, and they don't actually care a whole lot. We discussed the servo is in fact a 5th scale sized servo, so you can take whatever you want and drop it right in there. I want to talk about how Cross does their differential servos and why it's important for whatever scale you get, especially something like this, or in the EMO X 8th scale is how those come. Why that's important. Flip it around so you can see it better. Oh, it seems heavy. All right, so you see this here. This cable is tight. This is the front differential. It is open right now. I'll grab the remote, show you. Front is open. Otherwise, this thing will be crawling across my bench. Cable is under tension. The rear over here. This cable just slightly out of frame. Let me put this thing in reverse. Roll it. This cable, right there, is under tension. It is in neutral. That spring is under tension. I'm just telling you all this because Cross RC has, I think, maybe made the best diff and 2-speed locking and unlocking / gear shifting mechanism that you can get. There is no servo saver at all. It has a spring, so it's kind of like a servo saver, but they just use like a little bit of clear fuel tubing here and here to give you some adjustability, because in the differential there is a spring that right now is being pulled away, so it's pulling the locking bits apart so they can spin freely inside the front and rear. Under tension. I run this thing open like this a lot, especially when you're going fast. That's kind of default. Now, when you go to store this thing, it is best to, on your transmitter, have them locked, because now the cable is relaxed. Cable's relaxed, and the spring in there is relaxed. It is all your locking mechanisms, the dogs. I think they're called dogs. I don't know. YouTube, you tell me. Comment down below. But you know, it's the thing that locks into the thing inside the diff that lets it slip / lock thing, right? There's a spring in there that pushes it in, and then the servo pulls it away. So it's pulling the spring and pulling the mechanism apart. Now, when you relax everything in here, the spring gets to relax, the differentials get locked, and that is the best way to store your RC if it's Cross RC and it uses this style of mechanism. Also, down here we got second gear. if you'll notice the spring, pull it forward, notice the spring in first, how much tension it's under. Now notice it in neutral, a little less. Now notice the spring, watch the rod right there. Get a little motor rotation in here. We watch the spring completely relax, no more tension, and the rod is fully inserted, that's the shift rod, inside the truck. Not the easiest thing to manipulate with your hands, although second gear, the drag brake is not very strong. But that spring is relaxed, the servo is relaxed, this servo is relaxed, and these two servos that control the front and rear, or I guess front and rear, they are relaxed. That is how you should be storing this type of RC. Now, because we're still doing the video, we're not going to do that. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. Things that I did to this to make it a little bit more durable. Nothing with the system. The system I think is actually pretty good. I'm not going to keep talking about that, but I really do think it's pretty good. So I'm going to grab the bed, flip this thing around, and kind of show you what I'm talking about. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, we're back. What I'm going to show you is kind of like maybe one of my only real gripes with this thing. Some things I don't understand. They're not the worst things, and they're really, really easy to remedy. Let me just remove this so I can tell you the easier part. The screws that attach the bed to the truck are short. They're very short. In fact, I have this right here. Let's just tell you how short they are. I think this is something like, yeah, 10 mil. We're looking at a 10 millimeter screw, and this bed thickness is something close to about 1/8 of an inch. So I don't know. It takes up quite a bit. They're not long enough. They don't screw down into the truck very far. So what I did, among a couple other things, is I replaced them with longer screws. And these are, if I remember correctly, 15 mil, 16. So it's like 15 or 16 mil. You know, I'm just kind of guessing / measuring. So maybe 16 millimeter. And that is an appropriate length for the bed screws. Also, if you were paying attention in the unboxing video, and actually I don't even know if I put it in there, but there's only one hole originally back here. One here and one here. One up here and one up here. All using the same short 10 millimeter screw. I didn't think that was good enough. I thought it was a bit short. I thought it was just not enough. So, on top of adding the longer screw, the additional 4, I made another hole because this just screws into the shock tower right here. That hole was already there. So using my calipers, I measured from, let me move the bed out of the way, put it back down over here. I measured the distance from hole to hole, which I'll show it to you right now. We're looking at, from center to center, we're looking at about 25 millimeters. If you're going to do this, it's going to be about 25 millimeters, approaching 26. Yeah. I think if you were to go 26 or go 25, you could use the drill and sort of wallow the hole out just a smidge. Yeah, I think 26 is probably the better bet. These are about 26 on the nose apart. So if you get one of these and you want to do this, that's the number from here to here. So just on the bed itself, measure from the existing hole, which is in the rear. It's that one. Forward as straight as you can. Use something, a right angle, something to make sure you're as straightforward as possible. 26 millimeters, and you'll line up pretty good with that. There's other ways to do it. I'm not going to bother covering that, but it's not that hard. Put some tape on the bottom of the truck bed where the hole is, and then put a little grease right here on that hole. Mount the bed with the screws, and then pull it all back apart, and then see where the grease is stuck on the underside of the bed. So you just grease the part right here. You can use anything. You can use nail polish, paint, anything that will transfer after it touches. So then you flip the bed over and see where the mark is, and then now you know where to drill. But this works pretty well. It was 26 millimeters. So I did that, and I added the same thing in the rear. I'm sorry, in the front. Longer screws where the bed screws down. There's just two in the front. This is all part of the motor assembly right here. This doesn't have a bottom, so if you have a screw that's longer than this, it will still probably be okay. You're not going to hit the motor. It's just going to run down and be longer than it needs to be, but it will be way, way better than this little anemic, short man. That's a song. That for durability is it. Nope. Nah, I'm not lying, not on purpose, but I did do one other thing. The spare tire holder. It's just a dowel type thing that has a screw from the bottom. It screws into this. It is a screw that's like this. Now, when you go to put the spare tire on it, that chunky guy, what did I do with the screw? Oh, great. It will tend to want to make this spin. So then you can't get this tight enough on here like you want. So what I did, there we go. What I did is put it on and then very carefully drilled a hole right next to the big screw. Drilled a hole and then put a small screw next to it. So now it's captured. That screw didn't breach the wall here. And this thing is, you can't twist it. You got to take both screws out to make this twist. So now you can put your spare tire on without a whole bunch of fuss and without it wanting to twist around on you. So that worked out well. And then the only other thing I did once I got back from the run, because I was sitting in here staring at this thing, is did some silver paint on the wheel hardware just to give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of character. You know, I like doing that. Even put it on the spare. What do you think? I like it. It's going to get worn off when I go and run this thing through tough terrain, but I think it looks pretty good. And it's all good. These are the stock wheels and tires. I just kind of made them, kind of fancied them up just a tad bit along with the bed. And I think that is actually it. I have not done anything else to it. Just a little bit of aesthetics, a little bit of durability for how the bed attaches to the frame. But that is it. I do want to point out they have made this easier to work on than previous 8th scale models. I'll bring you back in here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You got two motors. There was these screws and I was like, man, what the heck are these screws for? Why are they here? This is weird. But Because when you pull them out, you're like, okay, well, what's that for? Some of you are going to be like, well, that's obviously for this, dummy. It's just a screw, and it's very short. It's like, what is this? Well, if you called me dumb, you're right. It's so you can tighten down your pinion. Your pinion's right there on both sides. That's a straight shot in there. And not only that, but the screw right here. So many things. This is a very well thought out RC. You pull that screw and this whole cover comes off, and look what we get to see. We can see our mesh. And inside of here, I'll lift it so you can see it. Let me get a light in there. Inside of here are the screws to set your mesh and remove your motor. I am tempted to think I can change the system out of this thing without ever having to remove any of this. I don't want to get happy and think that that might be true, but boy, how cool would that be if I can do this without having to take all of this stuff out. The screws are right there. And the pinion, these are Mod 1 gears, by the way. You can reach it. It's in there. I tried it last night. By the way, I had to record this twice. The audio did not work. So there was a lot of footage with no audio from last night for some reason. And both sides are like that, by the way. So they give you the ability to tighten your pinion, get your depth, right? So that your teeth are aligned in here. And you tighten your pinion down. And they give you the screw access, probably with like a regular Allen tool, unless you're going to come at it the long way with a long extension over here, to get your mesh, your motor spacing on either side. Thought that was really cool. And something I keep forgetting to tell you about is the slipper clutch is behind this. Look what they've done. This is true on the 1/8 scale too. This is just locked in there, a little half turn thing, and then there is your slipper clutch nut and spring. Very, very thoughtful for Cross RC. And once you get it all back together, let's say you get a good, heavy, hard, wet run, pull all this stuff out and leave it in the sun, blow it out and whatnot. This will all dry in good direct sunlight. This will dry out. And then you can re-grease this if you want to. I haven't greased anything. That's how it came. But they put a lot of thought into how they configured this setup here. On the 1/8 scale trucks that I love so much, that got me into Cross RC, you got to take all of this out to change the motor system. And it's not the worst thing, but it's not as easy as I think it ought to be. Of course, wouldn't we all like things to be just super easy? But in any case, I think this was a very well thought out design. And if you are on the fence about Cross RC or about, straight from China stuff, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, especially if you really love this hobby and you want to try something that isn't your run-of-the-mill. And I respect them, and I really do like them. I got a couple of them. I got several, actually. They're TRX4s. I love Axial and all those guys. I don't have any Vanquish. I think they like their stuff a little bit more than I do for the price. But maybe one day, now that I'm doing this YouTube thing, you gotta give Cross RC a chance. They're not paying me. No one's paying me, like always. I just believe, based on my usage and working on these things, looking at parts, looking at the durability, Cross RC makes a very good product. And this one in particular, I'm very happy with. I thought the 8 scale ones, if you were just going to trail it, I thought the electronics were serviceable. They were pretty good. I think this one, once you learn the little tricks and ins and outs, as I have described in this video, you can get pretty good crawling performance out of it too, not just for trailing. So I think that might be my soapbox about Cross RC. I really do like them. This thing is a awesome rig. And I want to point out, if I hadn't before, if you go to look for one of these and you find the almost ready to run version that has no servos in it, and you don't mind buying all your own servos, these are all standard size 10th scale normal servos. The 8th scale has a Cross RC kind of smaller. It's not micro, it's not full size, it's kind of in the middle. You can 3D print your own solution for that if you want to, but if you buy this, it has the capability and it's made to take regular 10th scale servos. So use that information for what you will. And you know, if you're worried about parts availability and waiting for specialized servos to show up in the mail, you don't have to do that with the 6th scale. But this is a really cool truck. It's gonna get some runtime on the channel, no doubt. But I hope you guys appreciate the sort of detailed breakdown of how Cross RC does their servo diff lock unlock kind of thing, and just the kind of in-depth view of this enormous 6th scale monster. And I hope you enjoy the running footage. I'm gonna kind of smash all this stuff together, make it into a single video, and some stuff will likely get edited out for time. But if you don't mind, I would surely appreciate the like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. It super duper helps me. And after I get done talking on this video, I'm going to film the giveaway video, how we're going to do that, because I have recently reached 200 subscribers, which was a benchmark that I was trying to get to, and we did it. And I want to thank everybody who watches my content for helping me get there. I'm trying to grow this thing into something worthwhile, not just a hobby. Maybe make something out of it. But I can't do it without you, and for that, I appreciate you. I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you in the next one. Later.